Dine with Orcas. It's a privilege for all of us to connect with, care for, and celebrate SeaWorld's killer whales. We hope that over the next few minutes, we can share with you even more about killer whales and what they represent as the ocean's ambassadors. No one understands the power of this wondrous connection between people and killer whales, as well as our SeaWorld rangers. And here they are to tell us more.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Dine with Orcas. My name is Justin, standing over here on the island. It's great to see all of you. We hope that you've been enjoying your meals and have been enjoying watching the whales while they've had a little bit of free time back here before our interaction. We have a great interaction planned with Trua and Makaio, our two males. And it's my job to tell you a little bit more about them, and I'm going to go into a lot more depth as to how we care for our animals at SeaWorld and how we train the whales and all the other critters that you'll see today throughout the park. So let's start off with some introductions so you know who you're looking at. Trua is our largest whale returning from that slide-out behavior. He weighs about 7,100 pounds. He's 16 years old. And this is Makaio as well, returning from that alien jump. Makaio is 11 years old, our youngest guy. He weighs about 4,700 pounds. Now, boy killer whales get much larger than the girls. So they get to be about the size of a small school bus, up to about 12,000 pounds or over 22 feet long. So very, very large animals. So the female whales stay on the smaller side. They get up to about 6,000 or 7,000 pounds. And hopefully if you catch one of our Orca encounter presentations, you'll see the female whales as well. See the size difference. Also look at the shape of their dorsal fins on their backs and their pectoral flippers on the sides of their body are different too. The boys' pectoral flippers get to be about the size of a car door, so massive pecs. We're going to see a back dive behavior from Makaio. Looks like he's going to do a little jump called a sighting bow over here on your left-hand side, followed by a back dive in the center of the pool. Nice. Now each day is a little bit different for us with the whales here. We want to make sure that they have a good variety of behaviors or interactions that we're doing with them, a nice balance of different things. Every morning we start off with morning husbandry or a checkup session where we're checking out their bodies, cleaning their teeth. They are taught to present different parts of their bodies so we can get a good look at them. We're going to see a kicker behavior on the far right-hand side with Makaio. We also have time for exercise. This is kind of what we're doing during this training session here too. Good. Good call, Leah. So we might come out here and do high energy behaviors for 15, 20, 30 minutes at a time. It's like the killer whale equivalent of gym class. We also have quiet times with the whales. We call those relationship sessions or relates, where we might just give them a back rub for 45 minutes. So it's a really good way for us to build our bond with them. We couldn't do any of these things without first developing that strong relationship with the whales. When you are a newer trainer here at our stadium, you start off with just one whale. Each whale has a team of trainers that interact with them. Some of them have very large teams, some have smaller teams, just depending on what their behavioral needs are, just like kids in school. So at first you're paired off with just one animal. You get to know them, their personality, their repertoire, the cues and the signals that we use for those different behaviors. And they get to know us as well too. They definitely can tell us all apart. They discriminate between trainers sometimes too, which I think is kind of an interesting thing to see. We spent lots and lots of time with the animals just focused on that relationship building. These are very playful animals too, so play is a really big part of our training philosophy. We have lots of killer whale-sized toys that the whales really seem to enjoy interacting with. And one of our favorite things to do is to combine different toys together. We can use gelatin to kind of form like a glue, to glue these different toys together, and then they can figure out how to get them apart, and then they get to eat the jello as well at the end. So the gelatin is unflavored, it doesn't have any sugar in it. Sometimes we'll put a little bit of food coloring in it, which is kind of fun for us. I'm not sure if the whales care that much about it. But we try to be really creative with we call them environmental enrichment devices or toys with the whales here. All right, I think we're going to see Trua popping up here in the center, again with Nick posing on the ledge. I can tell Trua apart not only because of his larger size, but he also has some identifying freckles on his body. He's got a freckle on his chin, one on his right eye patch on the side of his face, and some on his belly. So those were some really neat vocalizations that Trua was just doing. They vocalize through the blowhole on the top of their head. They can make all sorts of different clicks and whistles and chirps, raspberry type sounds as well. So it's one thing that they can use to communicate with each other, in addition to using a lot of body language. So using their flippers to slap the water, their tail flukes, or even jumping completely out of the water in a behavior that we call a breach. So that smack on the surface of the water is easily heard for long distances, and is something that the whales are using to communicate with each other. I'd love to get in their heads to know exactly what they're saying, but it's really neat to see them talking to each other, even when they're a couple of pools apart. Now, killer whales are in what's called a matriarchal society, which means that the female whales are dominant. So there is typically a head female or a dominant female called the matriarch. In our case, it's Makaio's mother. Her name is Katina, and Katina is 45 years old. Katina made world history here at SeaWorld. In 1985, she gave birth to the very first baby killer whale under human care. So the first baby she ever was killed. And she's had 7 babies over the years. She's an amazing mom and an amazing trainer of trainers as well. So these male killer whales, Trua and Makaio, even though they're much larger, are actually at the very bottom of the social totem pole. Trua, our largest guy, 7,100 pounds, at the very, very bottom of that hierarchy. So it's very interesting to see their social dynamics and how they interact with each other. Now we have 5 whales all together, the 2 boys and the 3 girls. They spend a lot of time, all 5 together, but we're also able to interact with them in different groupings. So 2 on 2, so in this case, the 2 boys together, the 3 females together, or even 1-on-1 with a trainer is really beneficial for us, doing things like teaching new things, so they can just focus on their trainer without other animals in the environment. The way that we do all these amazing behaviors is using a system that's called Operant conditioning using positive reinforcement. It sounds like a lot, but simplistically, it means that we reward things that we like and would like to see more of, and we ignore things that we are not looking for. Our way of communicating to whales that they did something that we like is using this whistle that we wear around our necks. There's nothing special about it, it's just a dog whistle that you can buy at the pet store. But every time we blow the whistle, it's our way of saying, yes, that's exactly what I'm looking for, great job, come on back to me, you won a prize. The prize is going to be a different reinforcer or a different reward each time. We will use the whale's diets as their reward sometimes, so the fish that they eat. Each whale eats a different amount of fish depending on their behavior, their growth, and what our veterinarians think is appropriate for them. These 2 boys are eating well over 100 pounds of fish a day. I think Trua is eating about 160 pounds of fish every day. It's a mixture of herring, a small fish called capelin, and also salmon. Now the fish is not always the most reinforcing thing. In fact, if we're doing our jobs correctly, we are going to be the most rewarding things for the animals. So us interacting with them, playing with them, building that strong relationship, giving them toys, showing them our love and our appreciation, and doing different things, having the opportunity to do different behaviors, go to different environments, spend time with different whales. All those other things that we frequently call secondary reinforcers are, I would argue, the most reinforcing thing that we can do with our animals. So it's a really fun way of interacting with them. You're going to see a jump over here on the right-hand side. And then we challenge ourselves to be different and variable with how we're rewarding these different behaviors. Now these 2 whales, Trua and Makaio, are very playful whales, so they spend a lot of time just interacting with those toys as well, being really silly. Trua is a fan favorite. A lot of people, I think it's because it's easier to tell them apart sometimes because he's so big and he's got those freckles on his body. All right. But check them out some other time when you're at underwater viewing because he frequently likes to interact with our guests at the glass. All right, I am going to tag our interaction here. We're going to finish off here with a big belly breach in the center of the pool. I was talking about before, you can hear that snack for long distances. One way they can communicate with each other. It's a killer whale belly flop there. We hope you all enjoyed the interaction today. Hopefully you learned something new. If you have any questions about our whales or about our training philosophy or how we care for any of the animals here at SeaWorld, again, my name is Justin. I love talking about these guys. Please flag me down. I would love to chat with you. Otherwise, thank you for joining us, and we hope you have a great rest of your day here at SeaWorld. Thanks a lot, everybody. Bye-bye.